Everyone, my name is Aryan Patnaik. Today I would like to summarize the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. So this book basically talks about how can we thrive in an economy where there are robots and AIs. Now the AI came new, but robots, to be specific, are taking people's job. And in such an economy, there will be only a small group of people which will be able to thrive. So these small group of people are basically some types of jobs which people will be able to do to thrive. The three jobs are: one is a high tech skilled worker, high tech worker, so who can work with AIs, not AIs, with hard machines, technical machines, collaborate, AI recognition, all this stuff, technical stuff. And the second one is the superstars. The superstars are basically the people who are best at what they do. A superstar can be a yoga instructor, can be a coder, can be an author who writes, a potter who is best at making pots, anything but being the best at what you are able to do. And the third type of people which will thrive are the CEOs. So the CEOs is a type of position which is not accessible to most of the people, because to become a CEO you need large amount of funds, money, but most people cannot access that. So what we can access is the two types of works. One is the high skilled tech worker and the second is the superstars. Now to get to this job we need to, and not really to get to this job, to get to thrive at this job we need to do two major things. The first thing which we need to do is to learn hard things quickly. Second thing which we need to do is to produce at a light level. So to thrive in such jobs we need to master hard things quickly and to produce at a light level. Mastering hard things quickly is a crucial skill, because as technology is racing, our human skills are lagging behind. That is why learning hard skills, but not only learning, but producing at an elite level will allow us to thrive. So let me introduce here something called as the Q value. What is the Q value? In a market, let's imagine there's a market, and in that market, for example, you are the CEO, for instance, and you want to hire a programmer. Now in a market there will be thousands of options, thousands of programmers to choose. You will choose the programmer first of all which can come inside your budget. Second, the level, the way the programmer works. If the programmer has better reviews, then of course you will hire them compared to one who has less reviews, right? That is the Q value, the value of a programmer that can be based on different factors. So similarly, now imagine that you are the programmer. Now, why will a person hire you? You need to increase this value of your, and to increase this value, or we can say to produce at an elite level and master hard things quickly, we need to know the skill of deep work. Now, what is deep work? Deep work is high concentration in stretched and expanded periods of time. That is called as deep work. Now, to do deep work, there are certain rules which I will cover in my next video. But let's first know why deep work is valuable. So, as I told, in such an economy where AIs, robots are taking jobs, only small census of people will thrive. And as I told, these are the number of people which will thrive. Now, let's know why deep work is becoming rarer. So nowadays, as internet is flourishing, three types of trends have become a normal or a common trend for workers, knowledge workers, which is first is the trend of collaboration. Nowadays, jobs like employees of Facebook, employees of Twitter, they now sit in a floor of offices where you can talk with the employees one to side and get answers to your problem. Second thing, that instant messaging. Now instant messaging was earlier used just to chat with your friends, to converse, to have conversations with your family and all, but nowadays it is also used in a work based environment. For example, I cannot understand this piece of code, I will type this and someone will say the solution. It looks fantastic, it sounds fantastic, But there's a catch to it, which I will explain later. And the third trend is the presence of social media. Now, tech companies tell their employees to have a presence in social media, to continuously tweet, and as you know, Twitter and all these things, to have a presence in social media so they can have access to the people, normal people. Now, these three trends are decreasing the person's ability to do deep work. Aryan, if they're decreasing the person's ability to do deep work, then why are such trends being allowed in these tech companies? Well, there are three reasons why these things, why the shallowing of these, like shallowing of deep work, these trends are being allowed in such an economy. The first trend is the metric black hole. What is a metric black hole? Now, there are certain behaviors which does loss to us, but we are unable to see what the amount of loss it is doing to us. There's no clarity in such types of jobs. Well, there was a recent research of a company CEO. So the CEO found out that he uses this amount of time just scrolling emails. Now, what he found out is he like spends a lot of time in email rather than doing the work he needs to do. And after finding out such and realizing this thing, what he did a whole company survey. So what he find out that all his employees are spending 30% of their time just in emails. So what, after taking these word per minute of the people who are typing these emails, the time they are viewing this, everything, what they found out, they are spending $1.5 million just for their employer to see emails. And this was a very big realization. Imagine you are a CEO and you are just paying your employees to see emails, paying 1.5 million as a whole to your employees just to see email. It's a lot of waste of money, right? So what I want to say here is that is the realization itself that hits so hard that $1.5 million are just getting wasted because my employees are seeing emails. We do not have that realization. There's this black hole which is not allowing us to see this realization. See the process itself to find this. They needed to see the words per minute. They needed to see the time when they're spending. Needed to see what time are they seeing their emails. They need to gather so much information just to find how much time, how much money they were losing. That is what metric black hole prevents us to do. We are unable to see the loss which these types of behaviors, these types of new trends are causing. And this is not about only the trends, but this is also about our daily lives. In our daily lives, we do so many activities, but we are unable to see the loss, what it is causing to us. And that is basically what metric black hole is. There's a lack of clarity which is causing us to fall in this metric black hole. This is the first point why this types of trends are nowadays allowed. The trap, we can call this the trap too. Second point is least resistance. Now, if you can get answers to your problems within a fraction of a second, then your life is easier. If you can just roam around the office talking with people, you feel important, and hence that makes your life easier because it makes you feel important. Third thing, if presence in social media gives you validation, people like your tweets and all those things, it gives you validation, it makes your life easier, you feel better. That is the reason why these types of trends are easy to follow. Because let's see the interface of Twitter. They ask you what are you thinking, what's going in your mind. If you go to YouTube and if you are a YouTuber, what do you in the community post, they ask you share your people. So these are like subtle acts which these tech companies are doing to decrease our ability to go deep into such type of work. Third reason, busyness as a proxy. Now imagine you are a tech worker in a company like Facebook. You're roaming all around, sharing your ideas, doing this that stuff which is not needed necessarily, but you are doing this. So what people think is that you are a busy person. And if you are being told as busy, because being busy in a tech company is important. There was this Yahoo CEO who used to fire their employees by seeing the amount of time they are spending on their Gmails. Right. So if you're spending like this amount of time, like let's say 2 hours, and other employees are not spending at all, then the people who are not spending at all will be fired by the company, because the CEO used to predict the employees' work by the amount of time they spend in their own platform. Right. So this types of busyness is decreasing the ability, because if you're spending a lot of time in Yahoo, not necessarily doing deep work, just roaming around, that makes you look that you are busy to others, right? So that is the main reason why these are the three trends which is preventing the person's ability to go deep. So such types of things are what making people's ability to go deep less effective. Now, well, there are some exceptions to this, because imagine and responsibility of a CEO. A CEO cannot go from one place to cannot like discuss about one single problem for 8 hours, right? He would better hire other people to discuss these problems. There are some exceptions to these types of jobs. So now I'm going to talk about the last part of the first part of this book. I'm going to present you three arguments. I'm going to start by neurological argument about deep work. Okay. So before going into this neurological thing, I would like to say the science of deep work. How does deep work work? So basically, whatever we do, whatever things we do, whatever we perform in our daily life comes down to neurons. If you're writing, there's a neuron firing neurons which allows you to write, right? That is basically the oversimplified version of this science. Everything you do comes down. If I'm talking, neurons are firing in my brain to talk, like all this stuff, like. So what happens when you multitask or do 100 things at a time, like you are doing online class, you are even opening a history book for some reason, you are even reading a novel, and you have even opened Mr. Beast in a tab of you. When you do several things, there are several what do you call that? Neural circuits firing. Now what happens here is these neural circuits, when they fire, like think it of as a Wi-Fi connection. Let's say if you have 100 Mbps of Wi-Fi, if two people use it, that Wi-Fi gets divided into 50 Mbps for each. If 10 people use it, 10 Mbps for each, right? That's how our brain works too. Like if you are doing 10 things at a time, your attention is getting dispersed to all these 10 types of activities. So there's a thing called as myelin in our brain. So when you are doing a thing in isolation, like now I'm talking or telling a speech or trying to help you. So this neuron in my brain which is firing right now has myelin covered in it. Myelin can only be covered, it's like a cement to the neuron which allows the neuron to fire. And this can only happen, listen to this carefully, this can only happen when you do work in isolation. If I would be reading right now, if I would be watching a video right now and talking to you, the efficiency in which I am talking to you would be certainly decreased. So that is the scientific thing what allows deep work to happen. So deep work is basically there's something called as myelin in our brain which allows these neurons to fire fast. So we can do this thing at our maximum human potential. That is how deep work works. Now, what is the opposite of deep work? Shallow work. So shallow work is something which is done in a distracted manner. Multitasking is the best example to describe shallow work. But in some jobs, there are jobs like of Jack Dorsey, who was the former CEO and founder of Twitter. For people like him, shallow work was an important thing. They cannot, as I told, they cannot be stuck in a single problem for a lot of time. So it depends upon the type of job you are doing and that's what I wanted to share in this video. I hope you like this video. This was a deep analysis on the first part of the book. I'm going to present the second part of the book in some time. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you like this video. I hope this is informative. And if you found this video was informative, then I would like you to comment section to share your feelings about how you felt and how can I improve. Thank you for watching.